Hey yogis, Alana here, and thank you for tuning in. So today's video is all about our low back pain and hopefully finding some relief today. So we're gonna do a few moves and postures, just focus completely on our back, moving the spine in a few different directions. Low back pain can be caused by a lot of different things. So if any of these movements is causing you any pain or sharpness or shooting pains, please come out of it, maybe readjust, maybe prop yourself up, see if anything works. Just practice with love, ease, and caution today. So this is going to be an all levels class. You might want to have a blanket or a block handy, and we're going to go ahead and get started. You might want to grab a blanket. I like doing our first pose with a blanket, but it's totally up to you. So we're going to start laying down in a mild back bend. So if you want to use the blanket, you're going to place it right so it sits right kind of under your hip bones and under your rib cage. So right in your belly area. It might feel a little uncomfortable at first. You might have to readjust the blanket a little bit. All we're going to do is come the whole way facing down. Stack one hand on top of the other, kind of create a little pillow for yourself, and let the head or the forehead come down to the arms. So if your blanket might be rolled once or twice, and you feel any pinchiness in that low back, it might be too high for you. You might be having too much of an arch there. So you can readjust, bring it maybe down to just being one kind of roll on the mat. So just start to take some nice deep breaths here. Just feeling kind of the pressure on the belly, and as you keep breathing, it should relax into it a little more. This helps kind of release our stomach and our muscles that tend to be tight and tense all the time. Helps reduce a little bit of anxiety. This is always a good one to kind of get grounded and really just kind of in tune with the body as you breathe. So we want to find a nice rhythm with our breath here. In and out through the nose, filling up completely, finding some ease to the breath, not overly trying to force it. This will help calm our body. It's kind of our home base for coming back to the breath as we move through poses. Okay, so depending on your back, this might be where you stay. This is a very mild back bend, but if you can do it a little bit deeper, we're gonna come into Sphinx pose to start. So you're gonna lift your head and you're gonna come up onto your elbows and your forearms. So they're coming right under the shoulder. Hands are outstretched in front of you. Fingertips can be long. If you wanna work on your knuckles and your fingers, you can curl the hands under almost like kind of a tiger's paw there, and you can sit like that. So our legs are fairly loose here. We're not trying to like squeeze and protect our spine. I'm gonna sink into the spine here. Shoulders are coming away from the ears, and the head might move around a little bit. You might start out high and end up low. A nice little option is to grab a block and just place the head on top of it. So it's up to you. Figure out what feels good. Feet can be together, maybe wide. You can play around with it. And we're just gonna breathe here. It's a great place to bring an intention to your mind that you want to use as you practice today. Maybe today it could just be I practice with ease, or I listen to my body. Just a few more breaths here. And if you are craving maybe a little deeper of a back bend, you can move into seal pose for the last few deep breaths here, which it's simply just beginning to straighten at the elbows. So we're just pushing up. Once again, we still want our legs to be nice and loose here. Just maybe a gentle kind of tension in the legs. And still nice and relaxed. So if this is too much for you, just come back down. Just breathe into it. Alright, come back down to Sphinx if you're not already there. And then just let the whole body come back down to the mat. Maybe bend the knees. Find some windshield wipers at the feet. And we're going to push ourselves up and back into a child's pose. So toes touch, knees come just about as wide as the mat. And we'll let the hands come in front of us, head down to the forehead. And you can also have the arms just beside you, resting down. If the head's having a hard time getting to the mat, always grab a blanket, a block, or just stack two fists so your head is nice and supported. Breathe here, let the back kind of relax and stretch out. Taking note of any areas in your spine that might be holding on to some tension. Maybe you direct your breath into that area, kind of letting the breath go in there and see if it can help release or expand the space. We're gonna push up to just a tabletop pose here. We'll do a few cat and cows for some more spinal work. So easy as it can get. We're just gonna inhale, head and tailbone go high, belly drops. And exhale, round the spine, push the ground away. Inhale back up. Exhale, round. And one more. And come back to neutral. And we're going to make our way into a seat. So get there however you need to. And so our next pose is going to be half butterfly or half straddle. So we're going to let that right leg come out. Left leg is just pulled in close to that right thigh, your mid body. So we're going to start by folding forward, and then we're going to do a couple bends for that left side of our back. So find a nice tall spine and just begin to fold forward. So I like to walk my hands out and just, take note of where your body is each step of the way. We don't want to rush into this. We want to find our edge that we can hold in a passive state. So once you get to a pose that you feel you can hold, you can let the upper back go. You can grab some blankets or some blocks to help prop you up. Maybe you grab onto them, whatever you need. Returning back to that breath if your mind starts to take over or wander a little bit. Just a couple more breaths here. Alright, so we're slowly going to work our way back up to that tall spine. We're going to stay here though with our legs how they are. And we're going to find some side bends. So we're going to do two different ones. So our first one is just kind of folding over towards the side. So you can either bring that right forearm to the inside of the right leg. Inhale and lift the left arm up and over. We don't want to be caving in with our chest though. We want to lift the chest up towards the sky. If that's too much on your shoulders, you can bring the hands behind you with bent elbows and just come to the side, or maybe you find a block if your bend isn't so deep. And just breathe into it here. Bring up towards the sky or that elbow. And again, if any of this sends any pain or might feel a little too intense, maybe you back out of it a little bit, play with maybe just a very gentle side bend, or just opt to not do this one. Three more breaths here. Noticing the deeper you breathe, kind of the more stretch you feel. And inhale, come back up, nice and slow. All right, so you should feel the sides here now. This one, we're gonna turn the torso over towards that right leg, so we're coming in kind of one line. We're just gonna fold over. So same thing, just kind of work your way into it, see how it feels, maybe grabbing some more props for you. Listening to your body and only going as far as what your body will allow you. And we'll work our way back up. All right, so you should definitely feel the difference between the sides of your back here. So if you want to do some movement in between, maybe some windshield wipers, go ahead. And we'll switch to the other side when you're ready. So this time, bring that left leg out into a straddle, right leg is coming in. And just how we started the last one, we'll just begin to fold forward first. Kind of finding what feels good to us, letting our head and our neck relax if it feels good. If not, keep a tall spine, and we'll sink in. Sending that breath to the areas of the spine that might need it. Few more breaths. slowly begin to rise back up. Find that nice tall spine, and we'll go on to the side bending on this left leg. To either bring that left forearm down, right arm comes up and over, or come to the elbows, maybe using a block. I'm gonna put my block on the lowest level and gaze up towards the sky with that right elbow. Again, we're not caving in. We want the chest to be nice and open, shining our hearts. Still having nice full breaths. A lot of times when we're kind of twisted or kind of bent to the side, we don't get as big of a breath, or we don't normally breathe as deeply. So just make sure you're still having that nice rhythm going. And we'll slowly begin to rise back up. Probably noticing how that right side feels. And we'll turn our torso over towards that left leg. And same thing, just folding over, finding your edge. Tiny bit longer. And just walk yourself back up to that tall spine. And let's take some of those windshield wipers here to just reset. And you can find whatever movement or poses you might feel your body's calling for. You can do any movement here. So once you've moved around a little bit and you feel good, we're gonna make our way onto our backs. So on our backs, we'll bring the knees into the chest, just rock side to side, massage that low back a little bit. Okay, so let's let this right leg go long. We're going to squeeze this left knee in, maybe pull it out to the armpit a little bit, open it up. And then we're going to let it fall over towards that right side. So we're going to find a twist. So if this supine twist for your back is a little too much, just bring both knees and let them drop over to the right side. So it all depends on your body. I'm going to grab some props here to help me out. So my right knee, my left knee, I'm going to bring to a block so it's not kind of just lingering, hang in the air. So I'd advise kind of propping yourself up. If you need any support under your shoulders to help them be on the ground, you can also grab blankets for that. And your gaze can either be straight up towards the sky or maybe over towards the left side. And just breathe here. Maybe focusing back on that intention here. And if you had any props under you, go ahead and remove them, or we're going to come back to center. So you can switch. The left leg is going long here. Right knee is coming up. Give it a squeeze. Maybe bring it out towards that armpit a little bit. Open up the hips. And we're going to guide it so it crosses over on that left side. And I have a blanket over here to help prop me up. And arms can be into your goalpost, or maybe just kind of resting on the body and gazing over either straight up or over to the right side. You should feel pretty calm in this pose, letting the breath guide you. And go ahead, grab that left leg, maybe help it back together. Bring both knees in, come side to side. And let's do one happy baby to end it here. So reach up for the toes or the outsides of the feet. Pull the knees down, feet coming up towards the sky. And check in that low back is on the mat. If not, you might want to bring the head up to help that lower down. And release. Hug the knees in, let the head come up to meet the knees. Maybe you rock a little bit forward and backwards. Really tense the body here, giving yourself a nice squeeze. Then exhale, release it all down on the mat. And then just begin to sink in for a few moments of Savasana. Let all the goodness in our body and energy that we moved kind of settle in. Take one nice big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and just let it go. and just begin to awaken. Wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe a couple ankle and wrist circles. Bring the knees in and find a fetal position on the right side of your body. Cradle your head under your arms. And just take a moment to notice. Maybe noticing if you have any relief that maybe you didn't when you started. Just take a moment to be grateful. And then you can push yourself up, come back to a nice, comfortable seat. And I thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope this helped. I hope it relieved maybe a little tension or tightness you had in your low back. And please leave me any feedback or comments you have, and I look forward to teaching you again. Thank you. Namaste.